Bear with us, folks. Jumping on for severe thunderstorm warning now in place for much of Logan and into southern Butler counties here this evening. Just finishing up, making sure a few things are shipshape here as we'll pull up. Let's see. We want that there. We'll do the BG cam down here. And then over here we'll do I have Morgantown? I don't have Morgantown. I don't have Brownsville. Okay, then. We'll do this then. All right. Whether or not meteorologists haven't had her with a check here this evening, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Logan and into southern Butler counties. This warning runs until 6:30 this evening. Checking the clock now, we're at 5:48. And the reason is that we're watching the first line of storms, watching that push through the region at this hour. Radar is going to do a little jump there. Watching the first set of showers and thunderstorms push through right now down the I-65 corridor. Those are not severe. What's currently pushing through Scottsville, or what's currently pushing from Franklin up to Bowling Green, that'll be moving towards Scottsville and Glasgow over the next few minutes. That is not severe. What we have out to the west, that is severe and is beginning to push on in. This is that cold front we've been talking about all afternoon and evening, or we've been talking about now for several days. It's now beginning to push on into the region, and our warning here for the potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds in addition to a quick spin-up tornado. These are not kind of the big tornadoes that we would see and that we were worried about during the spring season. Now, they can do damage, though. These are these quick spin-up tornadoes that are very hard to kind of adequately forecast. So we put out these, the Weather Service puts out these severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible tags on them. That's what those are. And that's what we're seeing. Every single one of these little kinks you see in the line as this runs from Hartford and Beaver Dam down through Muhlenberg County. Notice how there's a kind of little bow right there in northern Todd County. Another one just kind of as you head over into south central parts of Todd County and down across the state line. That whole thing is pushing on to the east at a pretty good clip. Let me double check our, let's see here. Let me double check our speed on this. Oh, that's the wrong warning. Hang on. There's another warning out across portions of just west of the Louisville Metro that we're looking at, but this one is for Logan County, including Russellville, and also southern parts of Butler County. That does not include Morgantown at this time. 6:30, this moving east at 45. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, and again, the potential for a quick spin-up tornado. Again, likely not a huge issue when it comes to the tornado, when it comes to that tornado potential, but it is something that we will continue to watch over the next little bit. Again, not a huge tornado threat today, but it is something we're going to pay attention to because oftentimes you can get these, especially on a leading edge of a line like this, you can get a quick spin-up tornado that can do damage. They don't typically last very long. They're not long-lasting tornadoes or anything like that, but it is something we will watch. The main threat, though, this evening is going to be the potential for winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, and you can see those warnings there lined up from south of Greenville. That's Muhlenberg County into Todd County, just outside of the WABBLES region, and then we add in Logan and into southwestern Butler County as it is. And that runs until 6:30. So we do have a little bit of time left before this warning is expired. And just checking the Weather Service chat up above my head there, just keeping an eye on things. So if you see me kind of look up like this, I'm looking up at the chat, which is just to this direction of the camera at this point. So just checking on things. We've received no reports of severe weather so far. At this point, you can see the winds are whipping at this juncture. They're looking off to our south. The camera you see bottom left-hand part of your screen, that is our WRUS camera in Russellville, just west of downtown Russellville. And you can see the busy view we have there with the plenty of showers with the showers and thunderstorms moving in. You're looking at this radar view from the Fort Campbell radar site, and it is actually being impacted by the storms right now. So we'll switch to the Nashville side, and you can get a better look at just exactly what we're dealing with here. It's this real thin line of storms. It's not going to last all night. It's not going to, this is not going to be one of these things where we're here all night long tracking severe weather all night, but we will have to watch this through the evening hours here just before 6 o'clock, and that's why we have this severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Again, most of Logan County and a little bit into the southwestern portions, they're calling it, of Butler County at this time. And again, those are the only two counties in our coverage area right now under any severe thunderstorm warnings. I expect severe thunderstorm warnings to be kind of few and far between tonight. This is not this is not one of these big time severe weather events like we dealt with back in the spring, or even a big line of storms like we would see in the summer months. This is what we call a high shear, low cape environment, which means we have a ton of wind energy all through the atmosphere. Got a lot of wind. It's been windy today. That's going to continue through the evening hours, but we call it low cape. We don't have the instability that's needed to keep these storms going for a huge amount of time. And a lot of the instability we do have is what's called elevated instability. We don't have that layer right at the surface that's able to bring that to the ground at this point. But it is something we'll have to watch to see if we can get an isolated instance of one of those gusts down to the ground. So, again, if you're joining us from the Bowling Green area down toward Franklin, Scottsville, Brownsville, over toward Glasgow, any parts of Warren into Edmondson, Barron, Allen, and Simpson counties, those are not severe storms pushing through. Folks in Plano just got a big gusty shower and storm there up towards Smiths Grove. That's not severe. You're going to get some gusty winds with that, but that is not presently severe. What we're looking at is this line of storms that's pushing in from the west, and you can almost see kind of why the Weather Service put these tornado possible tags on it. You can almost see these little individual cells that are part of this line, and that's where you can get a quick tornado spin up, in addition to the potential for these storms to bring down the 60 mile per hour winds to the surface. We've got no reports of that so far, thankfully. But it is something that we will continue to keep an eye on. And some of these warnings already, the Weather Service up in Louisville had a warning up into southern Indiana that has already been let go early. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that this gets let go early. But it has not yet, and that's why we're still with you here on all of our various platforms here this evening, with a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Logan and into southwestern Butler counties through 6:30. This warning does include places like Russellville into Lewisburg and into the southern portions there of Butler County from Needmore. Basically, Needmore over to Gus. Gus is just across the line there in Muhlenberg County and points to the south. Areas like Dimple and Quality under that severe thunderstorm warning. Boston, Harper Crossroads, Davis Crossroads under the severe thunderstorm warning, and then much of Logan County, places like Chandler's Chapel and Eppleys and Whippoorwill and Gordonsville and Olmsted and Lickskillet and Dot under this warning. Dareville not under the warning yet. Shockoe not under the warning at this point. Corinth is right on the edge. Auburn's not in it yet. So that's kind of where we stand right now. They're warning out ahead of this line that is just now starting to scoot in to our counties here. You have to bear with me. The Weather Service continuing areas outside this severe thunderstorm warning in a special weather statement for winds in excess of 50 miles per hour on the north side of that for much of the rest of Butler County into Edmondson County, northern Warren County, until that runs until 7 o'clock. But that's the special weather statement. It's not a warning that's in effect there. You can kind of see that light blue outline on the map there from basically Bowling Green on north. That's a special weather statement for the potential for winds up to 50. And they're actually calling these gusty showers, which is not an improper description because there's not a lot of lightning with these. I saw maybe a couple of... let me see if I even have the lightning on. If I do, Let's see. Maybe. There it is, lightning detection. Yeah. 15-minute intervals there remain. Yeah, not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of lightning with this. We don't have a lot of instability to bring to develop some of that lightning at this point. So we remain just kind of there, gusty showers. But the potential there for 60 mile per hour winds with this, especially as this line segment moves into southern Butler and into Logan counties. Does not include Morgantown at this point, this warning, though you do have the potential for 50 mile per hour winds with these. And we've talked about it a little bit. The warning also includes a tag on it, a tornado possible tag. That is just the Weather Service saying the potential is there for a little bit of rotation that could lead to a quick spin-up tornado. Excuse me, dry throat. So let me look at the velocity, the winds inside the storm. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that would jump out to me right away as being particularly concerning, but these areas where you've got some of that bowing out happening, that's the leading edge of that stronger wind that's trying to push out northern parts of Logan County back into Todd County, which is why this has been issued to this point, and why those 3 warnings there from the Paducah office for, what was that, Christian, Todd, and Muhlenberg counties have the tornado possible tag on them as well. And why the warning that takes in Logan County does as well. But we're just crossing the 6 o'clock hour. Well, whether or not meteorologist Evan Hatter with a check here this evening as we continue to watch a strong to severe line of thunderstorms pushing through the WABBLES community, or pushing into the WABBLES community at this hour. Logan County, as well as the southern parts of Butler County, really in the line for the potential for some strong wind gusts at this point. That's where the severe thunderstorm warning is for another 30 minutes. And a little line segment, if you look here, look at how this is kind of bowing out a little bit right there. And then we kind of have a little notch-ish right in there. That's something we'll have to keep an eye on, and why the tornado possible tag is on this particular storm. But that's going to be coming toward Hollowville, Wolf Lick, and Lewisburg over the next few minutes. That's going to be where the potential for those 60 mile per hour winds will be maximized over the next little bit, and the potential for a quick spin-up tornado. But again, we were just looking at the velocity. Yeah, that would be where any kind of quick spin-up might be, but again, nothing. While I say nothing is jumping out to me, and it's not, these things can often happen very quickly. So that's why they put the tornado possible tag on these thunderstorms. Just looking at our chat here to see if we see anything. So far, nothing. But John Ross says it's his birthday. He's 36. Happy birthday, John. Sorry we couldn't get you anything better than a big squall line of thunderstorms pushing through, but we are what we got to do here. Areas further to the east, you're still getting very heavy rain along the 65 corridor in Simpson County, Franklin up and now east of Bowling Green, basically Franklin to Smiths Grove into southern parts of Edmonson County. That is not severe, but you could get some gusts to 40 out of that. The Weather Service is going ahead and popping a big special weather statement out ahead of that for the potential for winds in excess of 50. Sorry, just trying to make sure I can hear the weather wire when it goes off there. Again, the only severe thunderstorm warning we have in our region right now for the WABBLES community, the counties we cover, the counties we serve, right now for much of Logan and into southern parts of Butler County, until 6:30, and the area that we are wanting to focus on right now is going to be basically from Russellville up to the county line there along well, you get in here, you can't see anything, can you? Basically along Lewisburg Road there. That's what we're going to be keeping an eye on. That is where the potential for a little bit of bowing there. Wolflick to Lewisburg to Eppley's and back. That is that push of wind, at least trying to make it to the ground. We have a pretty stable layer at the surface that's keeping this from being too wild. But still something to watch. Again, there's nothing here that jumps out to me. Looking at some of the wind here, this is off the surface. That would be 58, but that's a couple thousand feet, at least 1,000 feet off the ground there. So the idea that that's making it to the ground is a little hard for me to believe at this point. But again, this is a low end. I just want to make this clear. It's a low end type threat. As we head through the evening, this is not an all-night. It's not going to be an all-nighter or anything like that. It can't be. I got a post to finish up so you guys can read it in the morning about how much colder it gets tomorrow before we turn the torch up for Christmas. I'm dreaming of a warm Christmas this year, unfortunately, as we sit here and talk about storms moving through, right? But again, our severe thunderstorm warning only takes in Logan County and southern parts of Butler County at this hour. Everything east of that, all of that first line, that is pushing to the east. That is not severe. Dakota is asking about southern Bowling Green by Nashville Road. Right now, just some rain at this point. You're getting that heavy, that first kind of push of wind. It is not severe at this point. And hasn't been. That first line has not been warned, I don't believe, at least certainly not in our counties, but I don't even think back into further back into Paducah's area either. So again, Amber's asking about Franklin. Just some heavy rain right now. We could again see some of this pushing through. I can't rule out gusts 50 to maybe 60, but again, this is not something that we're kind of jumping out of our skin here to track here this evening. But we're here because we do have the severe thunderstorm warning, Logan County, southern Butler County, until 6:30, so another 25 minutes or so as I drop my pen, just making all kinds of noise this evening, which is more than I can say for these because there's not a whole lot of thunder and lightning. The more noise you're going to get is from wind. Pushing through. But again, areas from Hollowbill, Wolflick, Lewisburg, and Eppley's getting the bulk of it now. That'll be in Chandler's Chapel here within the next 5-10 minutes or so, and eventually into downtown Russellville. You've got our feed there. Bottom left-hand part of your screen, that is the camera that is in Russellville, and we can look at that and just take a quick look. That is the WRUS Skycam there in Russellville. And you can see that moving on through with the bulk of the activity really pushing on in at this point. And really the more exciting looking camera, if you want to call it that, our Sexton Bin Builder Skycam down in Gold City with plenty of heavy rain there. And that's with the non-severe part of the storm. So, again, not a whole lot. I'm going to pull something up here in the background, and we'll pull the radar back full screen because I can understand how that could be very loud on the eyes. Let's see what we got here. Trying to see if we've seen a peak gust at any of the mesonet sites out here. 1 hour max gust. Okay, so we'll pull this back over. I can show you what I'm looking at. Maybe. Hang on, let me switch cameras. Switch sources here. we'll switch it up here, watching that line move in, and that's where the 60 mile per hour wind will be possible. And we can tell we've gusted. These are 1 hour gusts from the Kentucky Mesonet. Their map page there already showing us a 51 mile per hour peak gust there into Todd County. That's the Elkton site, 5 miles southwest of Elkton. Had a 51 mile per hour wind gust as that moved through. Now the northern part of that line, 41 there at the Muhlenberg County site north of Greenville, which is just outside of our area. Excuse me. Peak gust so far in the Russellville site has been 24. So these are right on the edge of severe levels, basically, and that's why the warning has been issued for much of Logan County, and that continues through 6:30. It's 6:08 now as we speak. And the heaviest part of this line pushing through Morgantown as well. So basically this is our heaviest part of the line right here. And that's pushing to the east about 45 miles per hour. So if we put a track on this, okay, that's not what I was looking for. Hang on. Let's just take a point here. Push that heaviest point out a little bit. Okay. Ah, there we go. There we go. Hang on. All right, there we go. Now we can do this again. Maybe. Sorry, I'm trying to do a track. Nightlock on YouTube asking about any tornado threat. It's there, but it's pretty small. Anything would be rather short-lived, I would imagine. We haven't seen anything to this point. There were a few back to the west earlier today, but I have not heard that any of those have touched down officially. But the warnings technically has what's called a tornado possible tag on it, which gives us the idea that maybe there is a potential for a quick spin up, which is not unheard of in a line like this. Okay, yes. And then I can do that. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry, this is the first time using this. We haven't had a lot of severe weather storm tracking opportunities over the last little bit. So, yes, this is excellent. Russellville 617. Adairville 626, Auburn 629, asking how fast the storm's moving. Well, 45 miles an hour. That's how fast they're moving. We were able to get that working there. So 629 Auburn, 639 Franklin, 642 out toward Woodburn, Plano at 650, and if these hold together, toward Scottsville by 707. Oh, I can make that bigger too. And I can move it to where you can see it. Isn't technology amazing, folks? Fine folks at Radar Omega doing yeoman's work out there, making this look pretty and nice. Our severe thunderstorm warning continues for Logan and Butler counties through 6:30 this evening. It does have a tornado possible tag on it, which gives us the potential, which tells us that there is a potential for a quick spin-up tornado, but nothing is obvious at this point. Looking at the, let's see here, looking at, that's the dual box. We don't want that. Looking at the velocity scope, or the velocity, yeah, there's not a whole lot there that would suggest tornadic activity. But there are a lot of these little kinks that we have to watch. That's where any quick spin-ups would be over the next little bit. Again, this thing is halfway through the warning at this point. Man, it's gone. Looks like we've been able to cancel that early, or did it just change? Or did it just lose service? It's possible. Anything is possible. It's possible I did something, because I don't see a cancellation message. Tammy's there. It is. Okay, it didn't go away. Tammy's asking about Edmonson County. Right now, just showers, but this will be moving in over the next little while. And again, we can put the track back on. I can track this whole segment. Hang on. Getting the hang of it here. And then push this off to the east at about... Oh, that's too fast. Let's see, we want about 45. Should pop our cities up here, maybe. There we go. So, Auburn by about 6:30, Bowling Green 6:35, Woodburn 6:36, Plano 6:40, Franklin 6:44, Adairsville 6:49, Brownsville 6:50, Smiths Grove at 6:51, Scottsville by 7 o'clock. As this continues to push on through. Kenny's saying wind blowing hard on Russellville Road. I would believe it, because we're getting that as this really starts to push in. That's where we get the greatest potential for some of that wind to push in, even in these little bowing segments. Donna, major wind gusts, northern Butler County. That makes sense, because that line is pushing through. Potential for winds up there closer to 50. We still have the warning out for portions of Logan County into southern Butler County that runs for another 15 minutes. But I have not seen anything that jumps out to me as going, whoa, at this point, and that's a good thing. Doesn't mean we're not getting those little pockets of wind. Just a little radar physics lesson real quick. So our radar is this little green dot. You can't even see me circling it, but it's a little green dot there. I'll put it in the middle of the screen. That's the radar that we're looking at, right? Nashville. It's a big green dome on top of the hill near Old Hickory Lake, which is located at the office of the Weather Service in Nashville. And so we're looking up at this storm at about, let's see, can I measure beam height? It's about 40 miles away, so we're talking, we're certainly talking at least 1,000 feet up at that point. So any of the measurements we get when we go to velocity, we can look inside the storm and see how fast the wind is blowing. And we can measure it. Yeah, 42, 45, there's a 49. Let's see, we had a 52 there, 55, 54. Again, severe criteria is about, there's 53. Severe criteria is about 60. It's 58, as a matter of fact. But you got to think, these are, there's 59, but you got to think these are up above, so these are tilted up. And what we're looking at there is probably not all the way reaching the ground. Allison, around Cool Springs, Woodbury, got a little hail, she says. Now rain coming down hard. Katie, getting pretty hard in Butler County near around David's Crossing, just lost power. That I will believe. We have plenty of, we've been, these are very quick to knock power out, and we now are continuing our severe thunderstorm warning until 7 o'clock. So we've added now Allen County, Logan County, Simpson County, and Warren County to our severe thunderstorm warning, and that runs until 7 o'clock. It's not popped up on the map yet, but it will here shortly. This also contains a tornado possible tag. This is basically Bowling Green and to the south. Severe thunderstorm warning now until 7 o'clock for Allen, Logan, Simpson, and Warren counties. All of Simpson County, the rest of Logan County, Let's see here. Southeastern Logan, that includes Auburn and Adairville. Simpson, all of Simpson. Northwestern Allen, so that's a very small part of Allen County. That's out toward Pope and further off, basically from Pope on west. Pope, not Mark. And southern Warren County, so basically from downtown to the south. Doesn't include Plum Springs, technically, but basically Delafield and to the south. From a line that kind of goes from Delafield to Pondsville and on to the south under the severe thunderstorm warning now until 7 o'clock at this point. So severe thunderstorm warning now until 7 o'clock. It's not for this first line that's pushing out. So you're getting some heavy rain, gusty winds in Pope, in Gold City. I mean, you've been seeing the Gold City camera down there on the screen for a while. New Row, this is not the severe part. The severe part is out to the west that we're still tracking here, just starting to push into, just pushing past Woodbury and pushing now into the northern part of Warren County, and the severe part just now passing through Russellville. And it looks like we may have lost the Russellville camera. I'm just now looking over to my right here, which is where you guys can't see. I got 3 monitors here. So I've got this stream monitor up over here. I've got the radar in front of me, and then I've got our control panel, basically, for... In fact, I'll switch these up. Here, hang on. I can at least see that better. In fact, I'm going to do one of these. Do that. There we go. That's better. And the reason this warning came out is like we were talking about. This is not the segment that's pushing into Barron County and in Allen County right now. This is the segment that's pushing through Logan County and southern Butler County. It's basically downtown Bowling Green and south of the Tennessee line at this point, under the warning until 7 o'clock. They also put a tornado possible tag on this. That is more of a, hey, any one of these can do a quick, because you can get some of these quick spin-ups, and kind of, this would be, I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but near Corinth to Chaco, that would be a feature that we would look at that would give us pause and say, maybe something's happening there. To be clear, that's not a whole lot at this point, but it is something we watch for. And we will continue to watch for it, which is why the tornado possible is on there. Anything that would form would be brief and wouldn't stay on the ground very long. We're not talking any kind of big, huge, big kind of tornadoes. But again, these can still, even an EF1 tornado to a poorly constructed building is going to cause some damage. So that's why they put these on here. And in setups like these, where you're dealing with we call this a high shear, low cape environment. We have a lot of wind from the surface on up. We have a lot of wind. We don't have a lot of fuel. We have a great engine, but we're putting, we're putting bad gas in the tank, old gas in the tank. So that's why we're not dealing with a bigger type deal this evening. It's just because we don't have a whole lot of we just simply don't have a ton of instability to keep these storms to growing. They're pretty low top, so they're not able to grow very tall. That would bring some of those bigger winds down to the ground. Even so, we can still get isolated gusts to 60. The Storm Prediction Center has already come out this evening and saying a watch is unlikely to be issued for this. I would tend to agree, and like we were talking about, this is not going to be one of these situations where we're here all night. This is an evening type deal. I mean, here we are just before 6:30, and I can go ahead and give the all clear to our folks in Morgantown and in Woodbury down toward Russellville, anywhere west of this line. Basically, if you are west of the line I'm drawing, you're in the all clear. You're good. Once this line passes you, it's a thin line. It's not going to last very long. Once that passes you, we're finished for the night for severe weather. The winds will calm down for a little bit, and then they'll pop right back up out of the northwest as we bring in much colder air. So let's put a track on this. We haven't done that in a little bit. Let's put a track on this whole line here as it pushes through our communities. And I'm just going to do the whole thing. Just boom, boom, boom. And it's moving about, actually, let's see what they put. 40. So it slowed down a little bit. Pop our cities on the screen so you can see them. And we'll move this over to the other side. So Franklin, here at about 6:47, so that gives us a little bit of time. Woodburn, 6:57. Plano by about 7:06. Bowling Green by about 7:12. As this line pushes on into the region, Scottsville 7:19, Smiths Grove just after 7:30, and Brownsville by 7:37 holds together. We're talking out toward Park City, Mammoth Cave by 7:45 and pushing 8 o'clock as we head out toward Glasgow at this point. So again, our concern here, winds in excess of 60 miles per hour is where our concern is this evening. We're not dealing with a big time outbreak or anything like that, but we haven't done this in a while. It hasn't been stormy in a while. We've been so darn cold over the last few weeks or so, so it's kind of a shock to the system when we got up into the 60s today and are dealing with severe weather. Like our cyclone port station in Bowling Green's dropped to 58.9, and it's been very mild, so we'll keep the cities on there for a second. One thing we are watching is that these severe thunderstorm warnings do have what's called a tornado possible tag on them. And that basically tells us, that's basically the meteorologist saying, hey, it's not impossible that we could see a quick spin-up tornado on one of these if things come together. And that's what we have to watch. So we'll turn on the velocity, and you can kind of see if we were going to see anything. We were highlighting something like this earlier. It's going to be, let's see, it's going to be crossing the the Warren-Logan County line near Rockfield and Blue Level. That is where, and again, there's been nothing that has been kind of confirmed or anything like that, but our main threat, 60 mile per hour winds, but the isolated spin-up nature of these things can't be discounted, and sometimes these can, it can take 3, 4, 5 minutes for a radar scan to go through and get into our system, and then by that point the tornado has formed and lifted. So that's what we have to watch for in these situations. So again, we'll watch it through the evening hours. That's why we're here. I'm going to switch cameras up. We're going to take D93, put that there. Sexton Bin Builders can stay there. And then turn on the Barren River Lake camera. Looks like we've lost connectivity to Barren River Lake as well. So we're doing great this evening. Wind, baby, you got to love it. Let's turn the drawing off and go back to radar. Again, if we were to see anything, I think that's where it would be. That'll be bearing down here on Bowling Green here before too long and pushing off to the east. You can still see the Sexton Bin Builders Skycam. That's out Gold City. They're in eastern parts of Simpson County, and that'll be pushing on through. That, by the way, that beep you heard earlier, I don't know if you've seen the map. we have dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for the western parts of Logan County and all of Butler County at this point. So Butler County is in the clear. Most of Logan County at this point. Areas from Adairville to Auburn still dealing with the backside of this line, but you guys not far away from being out of this thing when it comes to the gusty weather at this point. And again, potential there for 60-mile-per-hour winds as these push through. Peak gust from the mesonet. We had a 51-mile-per-hour gust at the surface there at the site near Elkton, which is back into... Elkton is back in Todd County, which is just west of Logan County. And again, watching this kind of dual line structure, areas near Scottsville, that line is pushing in. That's that first line. That is not severe at this point. The warning is for the backside of the line, which is what we're watching there from Bowling Green down basically to the state line there. So it's almost all the way out of Logan County. The leading edge of the severe line is pushing into Simpson County, and the strongest part, it looks like, into Warren County at this point. That's where the severe thunderstorm warning continues for another 31 minutes. That runs until 7 o'clock. And again, the tornado possible tag that we would be watching out for at this point. We can turn on the velocity, the storm relative velocity. It shows us, anywhere there would be maybe a little kink in the line. That area we were looking at earlier north of Rockfield is kind of broadened out. But even when you're not looking for rotation, that area near Orlinda, Tennessee would have my attention, if anything, at this point. But when we're not looking at rotation, we're looking for the potential for some gusty winds. And you're looking, there's a 61 gust. That's a little closer to the radar site. Our radar site's down here in near Nashville, the Old Hickory Lake area. So on the leading edge of that is where we would be looking for 60-mile-per-hour gusts. I'm watching a couple of areas, just looking at this velocity display, not saying anything is happening at this point, but two areas I would watch. Now that I would watch this area near Franklin and then this area near Orlinda, Tennessee. Those would give me pause to say, maybe something's happening here. But so far, no reports of that or anything, certainly. But we're watching it. That's what we do. That's why we're here. So far, we have not seen any severe gusts confirmed at this point. The mesonet site we're talking about near Elkton measured a gust of 51 not long ago. I'm going to keep the velocity. I'm going to double box this. If you give me just a second. So you're looking at a split view here. So on the left side, that is the traditional radar. On the right side, you're looking at the wind inside the storm. A dual pane view, if you will. And again, I'm not seeing anything in Warren County at this point that would jump out to me as saying, ooh, let's watch this. But that's why we have the tornado possible tag on this storm, is that these can spin up very quickly between radar scans. And by the time a tornado warning's out, the tornado's lifted and it's pushed onto the east. So tornadoes are not the main concern tonight. They are a very small concern. But again, with the tornado possible tag on the warnings, we'll be very careful. The greatest potential for severe weather is going to be the potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds as these push on through. So put another track on this. Yep, let's do this. Put another track on this. Oh no, I can't. I gotta move the. Oh no, hang on, I gotta move the map. It's just to get me when I was on TV too. I'd be up the wall doing the hand tracking, and it would just be. I'd have to stop, clear it, move the map. That's what I just had to do right there. Old habits die hard. Come on, you can do it. Moving east about 40. So that would put it in Bowling Green by about 6:42. Put the maps, put the cities on there for you. Oh, no, I can't go to the... Oh, no. Could make it smaller, maybe. Woodburn, 6:41. Plano, Bowling Green, 6:42. As this line pushes through, honestly, I think it's about on top of Bowling Green right now. Franklin, 6:54. Smiths Grove, about 7:01. So, sorry, I'm kind of having fun with this track. I'm gonna try this again. Put another track on it. Ashley's asking when it will pass the Baron Warren line. We got a little bit of time yet, but I would say within the next 30 minutes. This particular track says about a little after 7, maybe 7:15, that this would be pushing toward the Warren and Barron County line. First time caller asks, I have some kind of plague. Do I need to change from pajamas to real clothes in downtown Bowling Green? I'd say no. I would. This is not going to be a scenario where we're dealing with big time severe weather. We're watching it. Some folks saying I'm seeing, hearing the wind in Rich Pond. So somebody asking Southern Bowling Green looking decent until 7. It's moving through the south side of town right now. I think these are moving a little faster than 40. This statement says 35. I think they're moving a little faster than 40. The warning says 40. The earlier warning said 45. But they're catching up to this first line that has just, kind of sat there for a while. Heavy rain. They're on the north side of Scottsville at this point. Yeah, looking at the velocity, I would be looking at, really, in the Bowling Green area, there's nothing there that jumps out to me. You see the camera there. I wonder, is that camera... I don't think that camera's moving. Look at that again. Wind ripping through Nutwood. First time caller says wind meter at front door says 55, but don't know how accurate it is. I could see that. Yeah, there it is, pushing through downtown now. I'm not sure why that's not updating. Let me hang on. Let's try this again. See if that'll reload it. Turn that off, turn it back on. It's not wanting to cooperate with me this evening. There's our severe thunderstorm warning update, taking out Logan County, but continuing the other counties, Allen, Simpson, and Warren through 7 o'clock. Again, potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds and an isolated tornado. But again, if you're west of this line, your threat is done for the evening. Bowling Green, okay. It's moving through right now. There we go. Hey, we got the updated feed. There we go. I didn't have to go into the settings. You can see the camera shaking. Let's bring that full so you can see what we're talking about. And it froze again, I think. Watch pot never freezes. It worked for a second there. Hang on here. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we could get that, because it worked for like a second. That's going to bother me. There's the frozen shot. Cold never bothered this camera anyway, I'll tell you that right now. There we go. Well, it worked for a second. You saw the shake. That's the point. The wind is blowing the camera a little bit. The sensor there at the Cyclone Port station there, the D93 Skycam, showing us 7.3. 5-minute gust of 25.9. Again, if you open up the Radar Omega app and look at the feed, it's working, and I would imagine the same thing over here. Sorry, let me bring the radar back. Yes, same thing over at Barren River Lake. Gusting to 17 out there, so that one's working as well. Don't know whether we don't want to ingest into our system here this evening. What are you going to do? Technology, am I right? Power in and out, Sutherland Farms, lights flickering in Franklin, lots of wind. That's pushing through. Again, if there would be anything, I'd be concerned about any kind of circular shenanigans there. It would probably be just there east of Franklin. As we get in toward Bowling Green, the heaviest wind is now past Bowling Green. We're just about done in Bowling Green, to be honest with you. Warren County okay for now. Western half of the county is fine. Eastern half still has to go through this wind and heavy rain potential over the next little bit. BG wind and rain wild right now. Wind is ripping through. We talked about that already. Edmonson County is not in the warning. This line is on top of Brownsville right now. And again, not a whole lot happening with it at this point. We haven't gotten any reports. And again, you've got velocity on one side. In fact, we'll just take it full screen just because that's kind of easier to see. Edmonson County, not dealing with a lot at this point. No severe weather. The Weather Service highlighting winds to 50, a potential there. Downtown Bowling Green is probably in good shape now. The line is east of Bowling Green. It's east of Franklin, but it will be pushing into eastern parts of Simpson County over the next little bit. Aiden's asking, do I think a tornado could hit? At this point, I'm not seeing anything that would say yes. That is our Barren River Lake camera. I don't know. Excuse me. That is our Gold City camera. I'm sorry. That's the Sexton Bin Builders camera there. I don't know why that one's not showing up either. Sometimes these streams take a mind of their own. Well, let's take the Sexton Bin Builders camera full because that is where this is pushing into right now. You can see that camera shaking as that line pushes through. That's actually where we're getting a little bit of lightning and thunder now. Seeing the lightning bolts pop up, so it's not surprising me that we're likely getting some lightning and thunder there as that begins to push on in. Asking about halfway. Again, I think we're pushing this on through pretty fast. The warning says 40. I think it's going faster than that, honestly, because it's covered quite a bit so far. Once this line pushes through, the severe weather threat's done. So folks in Morgantown, really into downtown Bowling Green at this point, and points off to the west, you're in good shape. Head on about your evening, put on a movie, fix dinner, wrap those Christmas presents. We're running out of time here, folks, when it comes to the Christmas presents. Ashley asking if this passes the Warren-Barron County line, will that be it for tonight? Yes. This is the highest threat of severe weather that we have. It's not that high, anyway, but potential for winds in excess of 60 miles per hour is why the Weather Service went with these warnings. And we're starting to see a few of those lightning flashes there. I haven't seen them on the camera, there. That's the Sexton Bin Builder Skycam there in Gold City. But I am seeing the lightning indicators on the radar, and that gives us the indication that maybe we're seeing a little bit of an uptick in strength, trying to bring some of those to the ground, some of that to the ground. But really, once you get up toward into Warren County, I mean, that thing is I don't want to say falling apart, because it's not really falling apart, because the wind is the concern, but there's not a whole lot there at this point. This is the front kind of pushing on through. And once this is over with, we'll have some showers through the night, don't get me wrong, but there's the front backing it out a little bit wider. There's the front. You can kind of see that there. You know, it would help if wind was so much. Scottsville Rod I-65 thought it was dust up tornado. I wouldn't count on it. Again, if there's any damage, the Weather Service will go out and survey it when they can. But I haven't seen anything that concludes to me that there's a big issue. The big story, once this line moves through, and Landon chiming in, line of storms moving faster than Max Verstappen on fresh softs. He's got a point. I'm not an F1 guy, but he's got a point. As this pushes through, let's bring the radar back full, and you can see what I'm talking about. Maybe we can talk about the line. That's the cold front. Excuse me, pushing through there. And on the back side of that is that reinforcing shot of cooler air. So once this pushes through, we're done with the severe threat, and then we drop into the 20s as we work through the nighttime hours. Aiden's asking, was there a tornado somewhere in Kentucky today? I haven't heard of any so far today. Doesn't mean there wasn't one somewhere out west, but I haven't heard much in terms of that. In terms of a tornado today, I haven't seen any. There was a tornado warning west of St. Louis, north of St. Louis, probably like 5-6 hours ago. I don't know if anything ever touched down with that, but anyway, once these storms push on through, we're done. So our friends in Brownsville, downtown Bowling Green, over toward Franklin, and on to the west, you got showers through the night, but that front will clear, and then we'll cool things off quick heading into the overnight hours, and then, you know, like I said, this is not going to be an all-night deal. We'll finish this off here probably in the next 15 to 30 minutes or so, because that back line is starting to catch up with that earlier line, and we can look at the winds inside the storm, and we can see, yeah, there's some little bows I would watch out for. Right here, right here. But really, that's kind of it. That makes sense. That's where we've seen the lightning tick up, if we've seen any at this point. But again, just not a huge problem tonight. So once this moves through, we're done. The warning continues for another 14 minutes or so. It is set to expire at 7 o'clock, and we'll hop off. If they don't issue a new warning, we'll hop off of here and let you get back to your evening, because, you know, we don't want to hold you hostage here. I know you got presents to wrap. You've got, you know, there's 2 football games tonight, and I think we're still a ways away from the kickoff of the Xbox Bowl. R.I.P. to my boy, the Bahamas Bowl. We will never forget you, King. Some basketball tonight, I think. Sports guy. Still waiting to see if that warning will go. It's the line that we're looking out for is almost out of the warning at this point. And looking at... haven't yet seen another peak gust. Oh, yeah, there's one. Sorry, we'll update the map here. This is the gust map from the weather, or from the Mesonet. This is the max 1 hour gust from the Mesonet. Ashley's asking, do I know if this is past the Barron-Warren County line yet? Not quite yet. It's almost there, though. We peaked the gust in Morgantown at 49. That is not severe. We peaked the gust in Franklin at 46 at the Mesonet site there. The peak so far, or the peak as it passed the Ephraim White Park and Bowling Green is 39, and the Mesonet site on the Warren-Barrett County line has peaked at 37. So it doesn't appear that we're getting the wind all the way to the ground. Of course, sports, how could I forget? It's the NCAA Volleyball Final Four tonight. Cats, cats, cats. That's an 8 o'clock, I think, start Central Time, which is really preparing you for basketball season. I think we've already had one of those this year for my Cats fans. But again, no huge issues we've seen so far as these push through. We'll turn the radar back on, and you can see our severe thunderstorm warning continues for another 11 minutes or so, unless the Weather Service decides to cancel this early, because the area they've been warning on is almost out of the warning. Mike is asking, what about Tennessee? We don't cover Tennessee. If you're in the Nashville metro area, our folks down at Nash Severe Weather, Nash Severe WX, they cover the Nashville metro area. They're not seeing any severe weather at this point either down there. We still technically have this warning for another 10 minutes or so, but would not surprise me if this gets, well, I wouldn't imagine they'd cancel it early at this point. They'd probably just let it go. And of course, our good friend Anthony down there at Upper Cumberland Weather, if you're in the, if you're out that way, Upper Cumberland Weather, our good friends out there as well. So if you're in that area, give them a shout as well. They'll have the hyperlocal coverage for your area, especially Upper Cumberland Weather. Our good friend Anthony out that way. Karen says, heavy rain at Buc-ee's. Protect the Beaver Nuggets. Whatever you do, keep the Nuggets dry. Can't imagine what kind of Christmas ornaments are currently on sale at Buc-ee's. Very festive. Aaron says, hoping the first line helps cut off the main line. It's kind of... They're kind of losing steam at this point. It would surprise me if another warning came out, because again, there's the view from our camera. Yeah, okay. Gusting to 17 out there. This is the camera at Barren River Lake, our WPBM camera, Proclaim Broadcasting. Gusty storms pushing on through at this point. I don't know why the one down below is not updating. But either way, very gusty storms pushing on through. The severe weather threat still exists for now. If you're east of this line, where this line is, that's where we still have the potential for heavy rain and wind. Probably Glasgow getting in on a very heavy gust of wind with some heavy rain right now. Down toward Haywood and Lucas, into Scottsville right now, down toward Petroleum and Adolphus, dealing with the heavy rain and the wind at this point, because that's kind of, the lines are kind of pushing together at this point. And if you're west of the line there, then you're good. Essentially, Brownsville at this point is in the clear. Bowling Green, just about all of Warren County, except for the very, very far eastern part, in the clear, and Franklin and much of Simpson County. In fact, I would just go ahead and say all of Simpson County in the clear now, as well as Butler and Logan counties. You'll see some rain. It'll be gusty a little bit later tonight when those winds switch around from the northwest and bring us the cold air back for at least a one-day stay. Frequent flyer miles for Old Man Winter. He kind of overstayed his welcome and is now asking to come back around and get the toothbrush that he left at your house. Is basically what's happening there. But he'll be out again soon, because we're getting milder again quickly after this, because Christmas is a week away and it's looking mild. Just got to watch out for Cousin Eddie on your diving board, even though he can't swim. About 7 minutes left on that warning. See if it goes. Aaron says it's passed through halfway the county before it calmed down. We'll see. Again, the wind is going to be a little scary sounding, but a lot of this is off the deck, as we say. It's up above. We're having trouble getting that to the ground, and it does look like they're going to finish this off. They're going to let the warning expire. If I had to guess, they're going to let the warning expire because they've issued a special weather statement. That was that new kind of blue box that just popped up there for mainly Allen and Barron counties, takes in a small part of Warren County. Through 7:30, 50-mile-per-hour gusts a possibility. So it'll sound loud, and yes, this is saying east at 55. That makes more sense to me. So timing it out. Assume that is what we're waiting for. Yes. Severe thunderstorm warning will be allowed to expire at 7 o'clock. And there it goes. So it is expiring. That is the verbiage, expired. These storms was prompted the warning moved out of the area, therefore the warning will be allowed to expire. So, yes, we will have some gusty winds over the next hour or so, pushing on to the east. But if these are moving at 55, they're pushing out of our zones by within the next 10 to 15 minutes. And at this point, I'm not seeing anything that is overly alarming. We have not received any reports of severe weather. We've seen some gusty winds. But anything tornadic, I think, is also a stretch at this point. So let's see here. Let's look at the velocity here. Yeah, there's nothing there that jumps out to me to be anything overly concerning. So we can get this pushed on through, and that'll be it for the nighttime hours. I think this is done here in about 10 to 15 minutes at this point. 5 till 7 here on this Thursday before Christmas. 'Twas the Thursday before Christmas, and all through the house many creatures were stirring, including a mouse. Thank you. I'll be Poet Laureate now. But a lot of lightning and thunder and halfway. I can see it. We're seeing a couple of these little, every so now and again, every so often, a little pop of some lightning, but they have been few and far between. We've received no reports of severe weather. The highest gust we've seen in our area so far has been 49 miles per hour in Butler County, 46 in Simpson County as this line moved through. Looking at our cyclone port station, our WPBM camera, they are gusting right now to 25. We have not seen anything to suggest damage or otherwise. At this point, just some gusty rain pushing on through, and once it's done, we're done. Our folks down there into parts of Middle Tennessee, northern Middle Tennessee, if you know anybody there in parts of Williamson County, Davidson County, Sumner, Wilson, Davidson, Sumner, Wilson, and Truesdale County, under the severe thunderstorm warning down that way. Until math in my head, that's 7:45. I just had it in front of my face. That's outside of our area, and the further south generally is where we're going to see the heavier wind potential as we head through the night. So again, we're starting to push this on out. We'll hang with you till 7 o'clock, just because that was the original expiration of the severe thunderstorm warning. But again, we're starting to wind this thing up heading into the nighttime hours. We've received no reports of damage. Our peak gusts have been 46 and 49. Bowling Green, Ephraim White Park gusted to 39. The Maisonette site west of Glasgow gusted to 37. We'll pop those on. You can see the wind map from the Mesonet. 49 when those storms move through Morgantown. 51 when they move through Elkton on the just west of our area at about, was there earlier? We have our live camera in Allen County. We do, and that is pushing through. The one at the bottom of the screen, I'm not sure why it's frozen, because we're getting the feed from the camera, and it is very gusty. That's not lightning so much as it is the rain reflecting off of the infrared of the camera, because we're in nighttime mode, obviously. It's been night for a while. And, you know, it would help if I put it up on the screen, don't you think? This is our Barren River Lake camera, WPBM TV31. They're in Scottsville. The camera there can't see a whole lot. It's very rainy. It's very windy. The peak gust there right now at 25. That's a little over a third of the way to severe. But outside of that, we are winding this threat up. So we'll hop off here in just a second. And we appreciate you tuning in. Aaron, he's thanking us for our coverage. Well, we appreciate it. And that's why we're here. The severe thunderstorm warning was allowed to expire at 7 o'clock. Or actually, it was set to expire at 6:54, and it did. Looks like we'll keep the marginal risk going for at least part somewhere. Actually, the new outlook just came out at 01Z. So actually, let's take a look. Has it popped up yet? No, they're keeping it for a wide area. Looks like that's probably the earlier one. We haven't seen the update. Either way, really, we're past the point where the convective outlooks mean anything at this point, because the storms are here, and they're going to be moving out soon. So it's now 7 o'clock Central Time. We're going to let you get on with your evening, because things are settling down throughout the region. Eastern part of the region still dealing with some very gusty winds, but you can get along now to... sorry, I have a setup here. Santa Claus is Coming to Town is on one of our local stations. I'll let you figure out which one, and let you get back to your evening here a week before Christmas. Whether or not meteorologist Evan Hatter with a wrapping up our severe weather coverage this evening. Brought to you as always, of course, by On Target, one of our premier partners. And we will continue to watch this as it scoots to the east, but our severe weather threat is rapidly waning as we head through the nighttime hours. Anything comes back on, we'll hop back on, but I think we're winding things down as we head through the night. Stay safe out there, everybody.